You're gonna love this cheese spread. Welcome back. So I haven't been in the kitchen for a while, but I'm super stoked to be in here. I've been fermenting things like crazy and experimenting with all sorts of flavors and different foods. And I hit on something a couple weeks ago that I cannot stop making. I've probably made it a half a dozen times. This is amazing. This is better than any vegan cheese spread I've ever had. And it's so simple. And the fact that the cashews are fermented, that they have probiotics in them, makes this as good for you as it is delicious. So this is a plan ahead recipe, but it's so worth it. 4 days ago, I put these cashews in a bowl of water, just enough water to cover them by maybe an inch, so that after, a little evaporation, they're not going to be above the surface. And they've started to ferment, and you can tell because there's a tanginess to them, almost like a lemon juice flavor. So that's the lactobacillus bacteria, which is what we want. This is the probiotic that is going to make these nuts more digestible and more healthy than just plain nuts. So these are raw cashews. They're soft, they're tangy, they have a wonderful flavor to them. This is a jalapeno. It's a smoked jalapeno called a chipotle chili. And a lot of you are familiar with chipotle. They come in a can in adobo sauce. You can use one of those, but I don't really like adobo sauce that much. It's so strong and it's so overpowering. So I just buy smoked jalapenos, just dried chilies, and you can find them online. So when I put the cashews in here 4 days ago, I just popped one of these chilies in the water and let it ferment as well. The interesting thing about the smoked chili is it gives the nuts a really rich smokiness, and that flavor is extraordinary in this cheese spread. So if you don't have smoked chilies, you can add a little tiny bit of liquid smoke. You can also use smoked salt. Now I have smoked salt here, and I'm using both because I really love that kind of smoky chili spice. So for this recipe, you're going to need your cashews, a chili of some sort, preferably a smoked chili, dried chives, dried parsley, dried red pepper. Now this is not hot, this is dried red sweet peppers, dill, cumin, garlic and onion flakes, chunks, whatever you want to call them, a little bit of ground cumin, or you can use whole cumin seeds, and a little bit of acid, preferably lemon juice. You can use vinegar, but you'll just need a little bit, and I won't put the amount of acid in the recipe because it really depends on how many days your cashews were fermenting. So if you ferment them upward to like 5-6 days, it might be perfect without acid. If you ferment them on the short end after 3 days, then you might want to add just a little more, just to balance those flavors out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drain the cashews. I'm going to reserve this liquid. I'm going to end up adding in close to about a half a cup of liquid back in here, but it depends on the consistency you want. So if you want a really thick cheese spread that you can just dig into and it will stay on your carrot or whatever you're eating, then you'll probably want to add like 7 to 8 tablespoons. And if you want a cheese spread that you can put in a squeezy bottle and squeeze over something like wraps, tortilla chips for a wonderful vegan nacho cheese, then you'll add a couple tablespoons more. And this is the liquid that we're adding, and this is the liquid that has all of those super wonderful probiotics. I'm going to strain off the liquid. So here's the easy part. You put everything in your blender and you blend it for 5 minutes. So fish out your chipotle. Now this little guy is deceivingly hot. I love hot food. So I'm gonna cut mine in half and put half of it in the blender. If you're a heat or a chili lightweight, cut off a tiny sliver, and I mean tiny, like 1/8 of an inch off the bottom, and then you can always just shave little pieces off and keep adding them in until it gets to the spice that you like. Add your cashews. And the rest of your ingredients. Dried red pepper, dried chives, dried parsley. Now the reason I'm using dried instead of fresh, because I have fresh chives, I can get a fresh red pepper, is because I really want this to last. So this dip, I'm embarrassed to even say this, that I've made it a half dozen times and I haven't had a jar of it more than 3 days. So I don't know how long it will last. But if you use fresh chives, fresh red pepper, you'll probably be able to keep it for 4 or 5 days in the refrigerator. If you use dried spices, there's really no reason that this couldn't keep for a week or maybe even longer. So my black peppercorns, dill and cumin, garlic and onion, and I'm going to reserve the acid. So I want to be able to taste this and make sure that it's actually needed. And for starters, I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of my probiotic liquid and blend. As always, the complete recipe is just below this video. If you click the show more in the text box below, you'll see the whole thing. Now if you're brave, you can save this delicious probiotic liquid and add it into soups or chili or something where that smoky pepper flavor will come through and be really good. It's almost like whey. So if you think of it in those terms, like you can utilize it in a bunch of different ways. This is my new, absolutely favorite cheese spread. It's so yummy. Dairy-free, delicious, full of probiotics, wonderful protein. It's almost a perfect food. Enjoy. And if you enjoy these videos, please help support the channel and give me a thumbs up. It's really appreciated. You're going to absolutely love this cheese spread. And if you know anyone that is intolerant to dairy and misses cheese, send them this link. Uh-oh. I'm going to double dip because no one's here. This is so good. Thank you for being here.